works cheaper than all the others.
Shut up!
The
No
APR
way.
is 1.9%, the APR right now, and the monthly payment is £400
What?
for that exact car.
That is
The
such a nice car.
DV70. Is that our car?
That might be our car.
Oh my god!
That might be our car. Shh, don't tell Mum.
Hello,
and welcome to Don't Tell Mum. My name's Barney.
And I'm Jamie.
And this is the 7th most listened to parenting podcast then.
Vietnam, baby!
Woo woo! I love Vietnamese food, mate. Don't know if you know this about me. A little bit of a foodie. Love Asian cuisine. Vietnamese is definitely up there. Have you ever had a summer roll?
Yes, I have said. That's the one
Great.
with the really thin...
Really thin
Yeah.
wrapping, whatever you want to call it. Pastry? What's it called? Is it pastry?
Are you okay?
Maybe.
What was that?
You look like Noddy.
You know what is so funny? So I spoke to a friend about how we do our...
First of all, Jamie, you don't have any friends.
I
Come on.
spoke to a mate about how we start the podcast, and they said they always get excited to see what's next on the chart.
See, I love that. See, and you used to have a go at me for wanting to do this at the beginning.
Because it's hard to like pull up the numbers a little bit, I find.
You liar. That's so lazy. That is a lazy comment. It's hard to pull up the numbers.
We are still quite a small podcast. Not
Of
a lot
course.
of people know about this.
Oh, isn't you don't want to because you're
I get a bit
afraid
upset because
that...
we put a lot of effort into this podcast.
And we're like 170th in Sweden or something. But at least we're honest.
But Sweden, don't they have the best parenting skills? Like, we should take more out of Sweden.
Well, like Scandinavian countries are, yeah.
Or maybe algorithm will help if we just go
Algorithm?
algorithm.
Algorithm. With the
will
beat
help if we go
algorithm of the
Sweden. Blah, blah, blah. So anyway, guys, you are watching this, and not next week, in 2 weeks' time, you are going to see the live version of us being at the podcast show.
Oh,
So we did the podcast show.
How was it? How did you find it personally?
Well, I had a really... I'm not kidding you, everyone, and this is going to be quite an emotional episode. We've had probably the hardest week as a family, not as a couple, but as a family this week.
Yeah.
When it's come to like everything breaking down,
Like anything
the
and everything
world
you could have
just
thought
imploding.
Would have gone wrong.
Went wrong.
Went wrong. You know how people say that like bad things happen in threes? They haven't met us. Because bad things happened in sevens.
So
or
how many
eights
things
to
went
us.
wrong last week? It was full
mate.
moon though.
It was just like we have two cars. Very fortunate to have both of them, but they both broke down. Completely different reasons. For argument's sake, I'll tell you, but one's hydraulics have gone and the other one, the radiator is leaking. So they're both undrivable. We had a bunch of issues with like work-related topics. We've had issues with family-related things as well, of like trying to organise things, keep everyone happy.
Your birthday?
My birthday was up and that was really fun, but it was chaos.
But it's not actually his birthday yet. We had his birthday party at our house, and his birthday is actually tomorrow. So happy birthday, Mr. Banks.
Merci
We should
beaucoup.
do a birthday
Actually,
episode.
The day that this is being released, it will be released on my birthday.
That's tomorrow.
Yeah, isn't this being released tomorrow?
Yeah.
Happy birthday to me.
Birthday episode.
Thanks, guys.
But
very excited.
This is not going to be a birthday episode. This is going to be about cars. So
Okay, hold on. You got to big it up a little bit more than that, Jamie Lisa. Come on.
You didn't even let me speak.
Okay.
Gosh. So we have turned our backs against buying a car out right now after this, because I've always believed that if you buy a brand new car, you are protected over the course of the 3 to 5 years. You can really haggle them down with the APR interests, and you can see what offers are on. And honestly, the deals are so much better than the stuff that... And obviously, we've made mistakes from our last cars, and this is just a lesson. It's just a curveball in learning when it comes to a learning curveball.
Oh my God. I can't keep my mouth shut anymore. Oh my God.
So you take the reins on that one.
Oh, it's been a learning curveball, guys. That's where we got to. So basically, due to the nature of these second-hand cars that we've got 2 second-hand cars, both died on us. Very frustrating. We're going to buy a new car. Well,
how much did you buy the Range Rover for?
I bought a Range Rover Sport for, it was like £15,000. Which is very cheap for a Range Rover Sport. They're about 110 grand brand new.
To sell it?
£8,000 6 months later. So yeah, being fully transparent here, clearly, because Jamie's pulling me up on prices. So what's happened is Range Rover's basically dying, which we kind of knew it would, but oh well. And my Mini is on its last legs for sure. So we're thinking, look, why don't we just save ourselves the aggravation and get ourselves a new car? So today we thought that we would discuss together, but also with you guys at home, the best deals that we can find for a family car. Now, mind you, be it a family car, we much prefer SUVs. Tall cars. Jamie hates little cars. She doesn't feel safe in them. So primarily we're going to go to SUVs.
Yeah, I also believe like boot space, if you have a young family and you have prams and you have other friends coming in your car and stuff like we always found, like, for instance, before we had the Range Rover, we had a Range Rover Evoque, and that boot space was so tiny. And I think, what is the literage of the...
Like 400.
Yeah,
if
even
that.
less. Like, no, it was definitely about 380, 370, I remember.
Yeah, the Evoque basically is a nice SUV, but the interior space
tiny,
is terrible.
So small. And we were like, flip, we're going to have to change the car just because of the boot. Because if we were going to have because, guys, we are thinking of potentially expanding the family soon. And if we do that, you have to think of a bigger car. And then you've got the other things where people are like, well, if you have 3, you've got to get a 6-seater. Isn't that mad?
Someone's thinking about expanding the family.
Because you couldn't have 3
I'm just
baby
along
seats
for the
in
ride.
the back. Like your brother, he doesn't have 3 baby seats at the back of his car, does he?
He has 7 seats in his car. So he has to, basically.
Yeah.
He's got 3 kids.
But he had to get a new car when he had 3 kids,
Pretty
right?
much, yeah. I mean, yeah, if you expand your family, there's a cost that comes with it. So ultimately, things are going to start costing more. You're going to have to buy larger things. You're going to have to buy more of things. Like, imagine having multiple kids, like 3, 4 kids. The food shop is massive. Like, it becomes a lot more expensive. So these things are things that need to be taken into consideration. We're extremely fortunate that we managed to get something like a Range Rover or an Evoque being the smallest one. But then when we wanted to get a bigger car, we obviously loved the Range Rover. So I was like, if I could get a Range Rover Sport secondhand that's cheap, why don't we go for it?
It was the worst decision we've ever done.
I made probably a bit of a blunder there because, they start falling apart at around 80,000 miles.
And he
that's
bought
basically
it for 80,000 miles. For
80,000 miles.
It was 80,000 miles.
It had about 80,000 on the clock, yeah. Your English, your grammar, Jamie. Sort it out, like now.
Okay, all right, chill.
Podcaster.
Chill it out, okay?
So how do you want to begin this? This is your episode, madam.
So basically, I asked Barney, before we jumped onto this podcast, I asked him to find 3 solid cars that we're going to look into. He's got 3 and I've got 3. So that's 6 altogether we're going to cover on this podcast.
Yes.
So which 3 cars, Mr. Barney Banks, have you gone for?
So we're going to go with like a cheaper, a middle and an expensive. Those are like the 3 kind of options that we want to stick with. And if we have kind of a rough estimate of what we want. My expensive one might actually be one that I haven't even looked up yet because I reminded myself of the car company. On the way here, cheap one, the Mazda CX-5.
Okay.
That's the cheap one.
Okay.
So it's a mid-size SUV. If you put I think we're basing this on if you put a down payment of £8,000 down across all of these cars, because then it makes it fair.
Can we just stop there for a second for the people that are listening who don't know what PCPs are?
Sure.
So do you want to talk to them about that?
Okay, so I need to explain it to you. A personal contract purchase, right, with a car company, right, means what they basically do is they lend you the car.
So what's the difference between a hire purchase car?
A hire purchase is you're buying the car over a certain amount of time. You're hiring it until it is purchased. A personal contract purchase is when you pay a certain amount per month, and the idea for the company is that by the end of your 3 or 4-year term that you're renting or, having this car for monthly, they give you an option at the end. And the option is you either stay with our company and we upgrade you to another car for another PCP for another 3 or 4 years, or you can buy the car outright by paying a balloon payment, which is the remainder of the cost of the car off of what you've already paid. Okay? So say you've paid £15,000 worth of monthly repayments and your car's worth £30,000. They'll say you can now buy this car for £15,000, or you can give the car back and we'll upgrade you to another car or give you another of the same. That's basically a PCP. So if we put a down payment down of about roughly £8,000, which is quite a lot of money to be fair, but then let's base this on what? Okay, so 48 months is 4 years. Yep. And we do roughly 15,000 miles a year because the mileage that you'll put on the car also adds a cost because you're using the car a lot more. So the more mileage you do per year, the more it's going to cost you. 15,000 miles on the clock, 48 months, £8,000 down payment. That's what we're basing this off, okay? Mazda CX-5 came out, I believe, at £385 a month for 48 months.
£385
per month for 48 months.
That's really good. And with a down payment of £8,000.
Yes, indeed.
APR,
Your turn. What's your
APR.
cheap one?
What's your APR?
I think the APR was 7.9% or something, and it's pretty high.
So I'm going to match that, and I'm going to
API is not insurance, sorry. Inflation? No. What is it? What's APR again? Like
annual interest.
Interest. That's the word I was looking for. Okay, go.
So I'm going to go with the Lexus to match the Mazda.
The cheap one is a Lexus?
Yes, the Lexus.
Okay.
Now, but the cash price is still £47,495.
So that's the cost of the car.
Which is more expensive than actually like my mid-range car that I've chosen. And it's 20,000 miles a year. I've done 20,000, so you can actually adjust that.
I just said we're going to keep it consistent across the board.
Okay, well, this was 20,000. I took a screenshot of this.
Oh, God.
Okay, so 20,000
roughly,
on a 48-month term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
£8,000 down payment or 10?
They will give a contribution of 4,500 towards this offer. But it's a customer deposit of 12. So 12.
12,000!
Wait, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7,000. £7,000 down payment. So it's £7,000.
I don't trust you with numbers, so I just don't know if this is going to be right.
I didn't know Lexus was made by Toyota as well. Which
Yeah,
is
it
a
is,
brand new thing. Anyway, so basically, there's a deal on at the moment with Lexus. If you go on there, I think it's on until the 1st of June. And so you've got 2 days.
Oh my God, mate, hurry up.
2 days. They put a £4,500 deposit on, and the APR representative interest rate is 0%.
Okay.
So that I thought was a brilliant option, and it's the UX 300 Lexus.
Okay.
That is not faffing. Stop interrupting, because honestly, no, I'm serious. You're not making this. You're not doing this properly.
You're going on about the APRs. That doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It's a big part. Is what it comes
it's
to.
a big part of it. Are we going to have a divorce in this episode?
Maybe.
Okay, that's my Lexus, okay, and I'm sticking with it.
So how much a month?
I think that was a good thing. And the monthly down payments will be £454.82.
Okay, that's your cheap car.
That's my cheap car, £454.
But we were paying in the mid 300s for our Range Rover. How is that cheap? 450 quid a month.
That's my cheap car. Where is my phone?
What's your expensive car going to be? Oh my gosh. All right.
I'm serious.
Okay. Shall I go on to my mid car?
Oh, here we go.
This is all off the top of the dome, by the way, guys. Like, this is actually like impressive. I'm impressing myself here.
Why are you impressing yourself?
Because I'm remembering all this information off the top of my head, you know? Presenter.
You are. I mean, you're very good at that.
Thanks very much. Right, so second car is going to be a Peugeot 408. So the Peugeot 408 is, funnily enough, if you looked at it, you'd be like, this is a cheap person's Lamborghini Urus. It's like a 4x4, looks a little bit like a Lamborghini, but it's a bougie Peugeot. Down payment, £8,000. Annual mileage, 15,000. Over a term, I think it was 37 months, which is 3 years, not 4 years.
Okay.
£456 a month.
And that's a Peugeot.
That's Peugeot 408.
I just feel like when you're in a Peugeot, I don't know if anybody else feels this, I just don't feel safe in a Peugeot. Do you know what I mean? They feel like...
You had a Nissan. They are basically made of plastic, and you're telling me that you felt safer in that.
And I had a car crash in that, and it was a good deal.
Peugeots are better constructed than Nissans.
Okay. You know, my first car was an A-Class.
You had a Nissan
hairdryer. They're doing really good deals in the A-Class here. That is amazing.
What? You're rearing off again?
I'm sorry.
Why are you looking at other cars?
I am pulling up Yes, I'm pulling it up. The thing I was talking about. Thank you very much. So my medium car that I've chosen for the SUV is, and it's on an offer right now because Mama loves an offer.
Before Jamie gets to this offer, I want to say thank you so much for making it to this part of the podcast, because if you have made it to this far, I really, really value you guys as listeners and viewers of this podcast, because this is fucking boring. So many facts and figures and crap that's being
Right,
thrown out here.
my
Thank you
medium
so
car
much.
is.
So,
It's a
by the
very-
way, if you are still here, we want to hear from you. So please email itsthebankses@gmail.com. That's itsthebankses with 2 S's at gmail.com. And tell us that you made it to this part of the episode, because I will be so surprised if we get more than 3 emails. Sorry,
Right.
back to the episode.
GLB. The Mercedes is my mid-range car.
Woo,
and that
baby.
is actually
Mercedes.
cheaper. It's unbelievably cheaper than the Lexus, right? And it's £462 a month at a 5%
462.
APR. So yeah, you would be paying that kind of money with a down payment of
Same down payment.
Same down payment.
Same annual mileage, blah, blah, blah.
annual mileage, exactly.
462 for a Mercedes 4x4 is good. That's really good, because Mercedes, you think same
It's
kind
a
of
friggin' beautiful
Mercedes,
car as
Audi,
well.
and BMW kind of sit in their own like pool range of like,
Yeah.
okay, I would say Mercedes is maybe a fraction more expensive than BMW,
Mm-hmm.
but I would put them all in the same like pool. And I've looked up BMWs, I looked up Audis, and I thought they were really expensive. So actually being able to find a Mercedes SUV as
Mm-hmm.
well that's less than £500 a month is pretty impressive.
But you know they're doing like even like the new A-Class hatchback. They're doing
Yeah, but they're tiny.
that for £250 a month.
Yeah, but that's tiny cars. So that's
It's
for, like,
it's a bigger boot than our old car. But the thing
But
is,
it's a hatchback.
the great thing about the Mercedes, the SUV that we were just talking about, is it's got 7 seaters. So yeah, 7. It's 7
It's
seaters.
got 7 seaters.
And if you're going to have a family of 3, that is a great option, and it's so reasonable. Plus, it looks good. And also, who wants to drive a good-looking car? Would your head turn for a Mercedes, or would your head turn for a Peugeot?
The Peugeot does look cool, though. I've got to say, it looks very sporty. If you're at home
What was
and
the
you're
one
listening
you
to
wanted
this,
to look at? The other one. What was the other one?
don't. That might be my next one. So don't give
do
it
you want
away.
me to put it up? 'Cause I've
No,
got
because
internet.
it'll take a while to kind of
No, I can put it
to
up.
build the car.
You
Unless
don't have to build. Just look at the offers. What is it? What's your expensive car? It's your time. This
Okay,
is
it's
your
my
time.
time. This is my time.
I will do
This
it for you.
is
I'll
my
pull in the facts,
moment.
and you can talk about the car while I pull in the facts.
This is my time.
So what is it? What is it called?
Right, stop talking and maybe I will. Ready? My expensive car is the Genesis GV60, I believe is what it's called.
Can I just add?
No,
if
you
you
can't.
guys go to our YouTube, you actually get to see this car because we gave it a test drive when we
We
were
did.
looking for the Range Rover, which we bought at the end of the video. And can I just add?
It's dead.
It's dead. We have no car.
Who died? So the Genesis GV60, right, is the 4x4. So by the way, for those of you who don't know, you might be thinking, Genesis, what the hell is
That is
Genesis?
your expensive car.
Genesis is the luxury brand owned by Hyundai, right?
GV70,
so
you
Hyundai,
said?
it's actually called Hyundai, by the way.
Because there's a GV60 and a GV70. So what are you going for?
GV70 is the really big one that's
The
really expensive.
GV60. Wow, that's a new one.
It's a groovy car. They're good. I think they're quite expensive though. The GV70 is what we drove, by the way, just
The
for clarity.
GV70.
That's the big one.
That was huge.
And it was so cool. It's like driving a tank.
Yeah,
But
it did
basically,
feel- it was
they are,
nice.
for those of you that don't know, Genesis, owned by Hyundai, really nice cars. They're built as like replicas of Bentleys. So they look like a Bentley, but the quality of the fabrics, the quality of the interiors and all that kind of stuff is completely different. So, as in like it's cheaper, but it looks and feels like you're inside a Bentley. It's bloody nice. And they're affordable when you compare them. So talk to me. Have you found an offer
I have.
or are you talking rubbish?
19-inch wheels.
Oh, 19 inches. Plenty.
And it's the same price as the Mercedes. They're
What?
42,955. Yeah.
Oh, it's in the price of the car.
The price of the car is
this
the same price.
Sorry, is this the 60 or 70?
This is the 70.
Oh, it's the big one.
The big one.
Oh.
And the reason why I've done this is, and you get a 5-year care plan at £0 extra, and that's part of it.
Let's go Genesis. It's also
So-
a new car company, so I bet they're pushing up good
And
deals.
it's £500 extra if you are going to go with petrol.
Which we probably would. I don't really want
Oh,
to
so
fully
40,500. No, 42,950. Where does the 2 come from? On the road costs, which is the excess duty. Oh, that's ridiculous. First
Because
time
you're buying
registration
something
fee.
that's fueled.
And the delivery fee is £1,000.
£1,000 to deliver it to your door.
Yeah.
I go pick it up.
Yeah, just go pick it up, mate.
Damn.
So you have to. Okay, here we go. Finance calculator. Is this how we do it?
2 hours
Per-
later.
PCP. Here we go. Right. So what was that deposit again?
8.
Yeah.
15,000 annual miles.
Hang on.
She's smiling. I don't know why she's smiling. This is concerning.
And 49 months?
48, yeah. Well, 49 is just
Wow.
over 4 years.
Works cheaper than all the others.
Shut up!
The
No
APR
way!
is 1.9%, the
No.
APR right now. And the monthly payment is £400
What?
for that exact car.
That is
The
such a nice car.
GV70. Is that our car?
That might be our car.
Oh my God!
That might be our car. We were convinced about, by the way, okay, so we did chat a little
Oh
bit about
my
this.
God, I'm literally
Hold
mind
on. Hold on. We might have spoken about this a little bit before we came.
Look at the APR.
So we were looking at cars and blah, blah, blah. And we were both convinced that we were going to get this Mercedes. Because we were like, the Mercedes seems like the best deal. Let's talk about it on the pod,
is
though. We can
better.
figure it out. And on the way here, I was like, oh my God, Genesis. Like, we haven't looked at Genesis, but they're lovely cars.
They're too nice. I thought they were too nice for us.
400 quid a month. That is so cheap for that car.
But
That
the
is
only
a
thing
monster car.
is if you want the black one, it's £1,000 for the black colour.
What
So
colour
this
is it?
White.
I don't like white cars.
Yeah, but it's £1,000 less. I would just get the white car. Just
let's
keep it clean.
was fine.
We're not paying £1,000 for a black car.
Babe, break £1,000 across 4 years. It's probably 20 quid a month.
No.
That's the same as
we
Spotify.
ain't having a white car. I actually like the white car. I prefer it because it's got the nice trim around it. Oh my
we're
God.
not getting a
So
white
my
car.
expensive
Barbie car. Here we
my
go.
expensive car.
What was it?
guys, what was it? We still might want to go for my expensive car. Thank you very much.
Wait, so you've done the Mercedes as your mid? You've
Yes.
done-
My
oh,
Lexus.
I know what it is.
So what's my expensive car?
It's a Tesla, isn't it?
It's a Tesla.
Oh, God.
Everyone loves a Tesla, but is the infrastructure there for electric cars? You
We
know
live in
what?
the countryside,
I would love to
so
know your
no.
thoughts. If you could email us, please, at itsthebankses@gmail.com. Is the infrastructure there for electric cars? Because if you're travelling quite a lot, I mean, with superchargers, it's a whole different game.
By the way, this is not in London. So is the infrastructure there outside of London?
Mm-hmm.
We live in the countryside, so we need access to multiple chargers. We would need, the infrastructure to be there so that there's also chargers nearby. How
Mm-hmm.
fast do they charge? Are they reliable? I was talking to my brother about this recently, and he said that it's just the actual battery quality that they use, the battery that goes in the car, is apparently deteriorating at a rate that's a lot faster than people ever thought. So that's why people are now leaning away from Tesla, going, they're going to wait until the quality of the battery is better. Is that right, do you think?
Yeah.
You didn't listen to me at all,
I
did
didn't
you?
listen to you at
You have
all.
no idea what
Because
I just said.
put get a quote, and it says this model is currently not available to order individually.
What, Genesis?
Yeah.
Ugh.
However, we can offer you a selection of tractly equipped vehicles with reduced delivery times. Available models can be found here. Alternatively, so I don't understand what's...
Babe, don't worry about it. We're in the middle of a podcast. We don't need to be Googling. Googling.
Oh, okay. I see
You're
why.
still Googling.
Yeah, sorry. So, I mean, I just got really excited about the Genesis situation, but the Tesla, yeah. So you can get a long-range Tesla car, okay? The new Tesla 3. And now if you've been in it, it's so much more beautiful
the Model
than
3,
Y.
yeah.
Now, I would be looking at the Model 3, and the reason why, and it's roughly about 400... No, it wasn't. It was £680 a month.
Yeah, I think when I did a
680.
calculation recently on the Model Y and the Model 3, it was like 640
And they're
quid a
not that
month. I
much
was like,
difference between
whoa!
them. Obviously, the 3, you've got like a skyline that goes from like the front right to the back. So when you're in it, you feel like you're in a spaceship, and it sounds like a spaceship. It's like so smooth.
Just
You can pull the seats down. It goes all completely flat. So if you are needing to stay from a night out, like for instance, if I finish a gig and I get really tired, I could literally just bring a duvet, throw the seats down, and it's comfy enough to actually turn into like a little bit of a mini bed at the back, which is so handy. I think that's the Y though. I'm not sure if the 3 does that.
I think that with cars as well, it's basically just what suits your needs. Like for those of you who are listening out there, if you're parents, if you've got kids, things like that, 90% of the cars that you're going to search are about practicality.
And
so
it's a
we've got
five-seater.
we've got a 2-year-old, with the potential to grow the family over the coming years. So then we need to start thinking about, well, is 4 seats enough? Or, most cars are 5 seats, aren't they? And like the size, getting prams in with luggage, for us, it's actually practicality, size, and like comfort. Comfort's a massive thing. Like when I was younger, I used to just care about like how fast does it do 0 to 60, and like does it look cool? Can I put a spoiler on it? Nowadays, I'm like, as long as if I could drive this car for 3.5 hours and be comfortable in it the whole time, then that is a win for me.
Weirdly, I found myself when we had the the Range Rover Evoque, it was a lot smaller. I found myself not falling asleep at the wheel in the Range Rover Sport because you had the armrest. I felt more comfortable, more secure, more like her. And
It's also like driving a tank as well.
it was like driving a tank.
It is. Sorry, let's not talk as though the Range Rover has died. Rangy is fine.
Can I tell you a really funny story this morning, though? So I called Mum and I was like, Mum, I'm going to have to borrow your car because it's Barney's birthday. I have to go pick up something really, really quickly. And she was just like, oh, for fuck's sake, that means I'm going to have to drive Steve's car. And I was like, Mum, I would drive Steve's car, but I didn't
You're insured on her car.
I'm insured on her car, plus I only drive automatics. And that's a manual. And she was like, and I said...
Is it a manual?
And I said to her on the phone, I was like, it's because Dad made me take a automatic test instead of a manual. And then it all came out. She was like, no, he didn't. I made you drive a fucking automatic. And now I'm paying for it 10 years on. 18 years, Mum.
18 years on. Oh, how old do we feel?
I'm telling you, I was like, maybe all this time you wished I'd be driving automatics and now you wish I drive a manual. Ha! Bites you back in the ass, mother, for your choices. Anyway, I thought it was a really funny story. So I wanted to share it on the podcast, and I hope you got something out of that little story I just told you.
You are funny sometimes.
What?
You have your moments.
But to be honest, guys, I think that we've gone through all the cars. We've gone through the Lexus.
We've basically gone through 6 cars.
What was your first one? The Mazda.
Mazda.
Then we went, Lexus and Mazda. Then we went Peugeot and Mercedes. And then
Tesla and Genesis.
The long range also, just to add for the Tesla, the long range 3 goes a lot further, 390 miles compared to the measly 290 on the Y. Can you believe that? That is ridiculous.
No, the Y doesn't do 290.
And also your APR is 7.8%. And I always say you never want to go higher than 6% on the APR because you are literally paying a lot more back.
Just paying a load of interest.
If you bought the car outright, you would never have to pay that.
Well, obviously, that's why you set up a payment plan.
Or get a 0% interest credit card and put it all on there, and then pay it off over the course of the month.
Oh God, don't give people any ideas.
But that's another option. There you go. You've got that option as well.
Your madness.
Thank you.
Did we have anything else that we want to talk about in this episode?
No, but I think we should focus on it being the car episode because.
Yeah.
Honestly, car seats as well.
Oh my God, our car seat is absolutely abysmal.
Oh my jeez.
We bought like a really nice, bougie, expensive car seat, right? For those of you that watch,
but that was lucky.
Our content.
Because do you want to know what happened there? We ordered this car seat from Silver Cross.
Yeah.
Really beautiful. I actually looked on the websites and saw which looked good, but also was really safe, the most safest car seat at that point in time. And we found this Silver Cross one, so we chose this car seat. Anyway, ordered it and 2 came. So I went back on the receipt. I was like, I didn't order 2. And literally, we didn't order 2. So my mum kept one and we had one. So thanks, Silver Cross.
Thanks, guys. Much appreciated. However, it is the most difficult freaking car seat to put on a baby.
Wouldn't choose it.
Ever.
And it doesn't turn. We thought that was a 360 and it doesn't turn.
You thought it was a 360 one, when you bought it. And it doesn't actually turn on the swivel.
Which is a nightmare. So every time I put Rocket in the car seat, he bangs his head. He's like, ow, head. And I'm like, just get used to it now, mate. It's just the going. Because especially in the Peugeot, it's really hard to get them into the car seat when it's such a small car. Whereas the Range Rover is at like body level. You just lift them up and just throw them in. Oh, I'm just saying how hard it is to have our anchors.
It's such a hard life having a Silver Cross baby carrier and a nice Range Rover, doesn't it?
So I wouldn't do that again, guys. I wouldn't get the Silver Cross. Do you know what? Just never come back to listen to this podcast again.
Woe is us, right? Tell you what, though,
is frigging us.
We as luck would have it, this whole car situation happened. Both of our cars broke down. We were kind of screwed. We insured Jamie on her mum's car, like for the time being, so that we can actually get around. Because, like we said, we live in the countryside, and we take Rocket in the car, in her mum's car, and we're driving around. And he just vommed all over the inside of her car. And oh my God, I don't think I nearly did. But, I had to make a swerving manoeuvre, didn't I, to get into that little lane that was on the left in order to actually clean up the car. And you were like, oh my God, when I went across traffic.
He does things like really abruptly and he has to be, so he's like really harshly turned the car. And I'm like, the kid's being sick. You're going to make him even more sick with your awful driving skills. Like, whoa. And I was like, why'd you have to drive so aggressively? Just calmly pull up. Then we can get out. You did not have to like whip it round. Also, that was really dangerous. The car was oncoming. So just FYI, be careful. And you're in my mother's car as well.
So I don't actually know how many people that watch or listen to this podcast give a shit about cars, but that was our car episode. And we're going to have to keep up with us, keeping up with the Kardashians, about what we decide to actually go with. And we can make a cheeky YouTube video about it. And maybe you guys will see it then.
If you do have YouTube, check it out at youtube.com/thebankses, 2 S's, and check out the car video we actually did when we were actually looking at the Genesis. It's actually a very, very beautiful car. And I can't believe that could potentially be our car.
Madness. When we drove it, we were like, oh my God, we love that car so much. And
mad, isn't it?
yeah, and we could actually end up getting it. That's very, very cool. And we also have a YouTube channel for this podcast as well. It's Don't Tell Mum Pod. So it's youtube.com/Don't Tell Mum Pod. And obviously our vlog channel, which is the Bankses that Jamie just said. And it's been a fun episode. Been a very different one. People might be like thinking it's going to be usual scheduled program, but in fact we talk about cars the whole time.
I know it was erratic, but I think that's the whole point of us as people. We are very erratic and always on the go. Somebody said that to us the other day. They said, do you guys ever stop like with the go, go, go?
No,
they
we
do
not
say that.
No, I'm saying we don't. No.
No, I know, but that's just us. And I think that, can I tell you something? He actually said at the beginning of our relationship, that was one of the reasons he didn't want to date me, because I was so wild.
Yeah, you're just on all the time. There's no off switch.
Do you regret dating me?
Yeah, every day.
Oh, okay. You don't, do you?
No.
You love it. He loves it.
She had to just be like, you don't really do.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning into Don't Tell Mum. I'm going to go now and you're going to say a secret. Do you have a secret? Have you prepped it?
Oh my gosh.
It's the original schedule programming.
Okay, go on then. Fuck off.
All right. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Barney's going to tell you a secret now.
As she leaves the podcast studio. So for those of you that don't already know this, obviously, like, 2-year-olds, they're toddlers, they're prone to, doing crazy things. Sometimes they have little accidents here and there, but we had a pretty bad one yesterday because it was all about timing, So I'm in the kitchen, I'm chilling, I'm cooking some food, and I lower the oven door in order to put some food in, and Rocket, little to my knowledge, I didn't know this, was sprinting behind me. So he was running behind me as I pulled the oven door down, and he got clotheslined by the oven door. And he has a purple dot here where the corner of the oven door hit him. And Jamie hasn't noticed yet because his fringe is down, and I'm deliberately putting his fringe down. Okay, thanks very much for listening to this episode or watching it on YouTube. You guys are amazing. See you soon. Love you. Bye. Shh, don't tell Mum.